Coming up on this episode of Free Lunch.
I didn't even have unemployment. I was sleeping in my car. You know, I haven't changed my underwear in days. Stop telling your kids that you're proud of them. Tell them this instead. Tell them you should be proud of yourself. And I was like, dang.
A real one. This is real.
Not a flashlight security guy. A cop, man. I mean, some people want to attain success. Some people want to be rich. Some people want to be famous or whatever. All that, and you're not healthy, what does it matter? Once you lose your identity, man, like, there is a great swim across that channel to get back because there's so many things fighting you besides the current. You know, there's a time and a place for everything. There's a time to rest and there's a time to work. There's a time to laugh. There's a time to cry. There's also a time to eat, and it ain't 24/7.
I wish I could say I was always faithful and believing, and I just knew. But, you know, sometimes I needed my wife to believe when I couldn't. It's Free Lunch Season 3 with a special thanks to our sponsors, Bullseye-LLC.com, Ready, Aim, Bullseye, where safety is our ammo, Gen1LLC.info, Generation 1 Logistics, taking pride in putting our carriers first and helping owner-operators get premium loads, stay organized, and increase profit, and ScarletOakCandleCo.com, the self-care experts. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Freestyle Gospel, a.k.a. The Real Free, with another episode of Free Lunch.
Free lunch.
I got my man Danny Blue in the building, y'all. Yeah.
What's up?
Usually at this point, I trigger my applause button. But as you guys can see, or those of you who are listening on the streaming platform, you can't see, but we're testing out a new aesthetic vibe here in the studio.
It's
so
a vibe, bro.
I get to just chill right here in the recliner while my man Danny is on the couch, the leather couch over there.
I like it.
What's good, Danny?
Everything, man. Of course, you know, my go-to is God is good all the time. I'm very, very grateful. And I came in this morning, and as for maybe a lot of you know, and some of you don't know, there's a gratitude rock on Chris's desk. I had to get the rub on to rub the gratitude rock, because gratitude is real, man. But I appreciate you having me on, man. It's a blessing to be here. I've always seen you, you know, doing big things in the church and in the community, and now you're doing something else big, man. So it's nice to be a part of it, brother. Thank you.
Why, thank you. Thank you for that recognition.
You already know, man.
So you know we got the new baby at home.
A doll baby, yes.
She is magnificent.
Brother.
Absolutely an angel. The angel is definitely not letting the brother get no sleep.
Every 2 hours, is it? Or every 3?
The angel said, we will be awake 2 a.m., 4 a.m., and 5:30 a.m.
For any reason whatsoever. You just going to have to find out. It's like a gift, right? Man.
But it's so cool because, like, I have been able to experience, you know, this is my fifth child. And I can see, like, how I've evolved as a dad.
Evolution.
And matured.
Yes, sir.
So, like, when I did this for the first time, when I was a dad at 19 years old, I've always been kind of like a fairly, you know, patient guy. But like, I can remember vividly, like, it just being like, wow, man, this is tough.
I'm a dad.
I'm using these, like, patience fibers, and then you're like, oh my goodness, this baby won't stop crying.
Word,
wow,
bro.
they do this like this.
Yeah.
And this go around, man, after doing that thing like 4 other times, it's like, I'm coasting, man. Like, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. Obviously, you know what I mean? I can't change, you know, the body physically feels tired, but like, I'm looking at that crying baby with like a big smile on my face. Yeah. Crying 2 o'clock. I'm just like, it's going to be all right, baby. It's all right.
Listen, Daddy been here before.
You know what I mean? Like, and that just feels like really, really good, man. Just be mentally and emotionally in a seasoned space as a dad, where, like, you know what I mean? Like, everything else that's like going on that's stressful isn't filtering through or like transitioning over to like this baby who's totally innocent. You know, they have nothing to do with the bills that pile up or the, you know, business thing that didn't go right today or even the fact that you're not getting enough sleep. Like, you know, none of that is their fault, you know? And it's, man, it's been great. And even greater to have, obviously, my beautiful, amazing, supportive wife being right there to do it with me. You know what I mean? Like, it's rather than like having a, you know, single parent, you know, setup. So that's been my like recent, man, these days, yo. It's just really trying to navigate balancing, you know, now the new baby and fairly the new venture as an entrepreneur full time. Like I've always done this like in the creative space for the last like 10 years roughly, but it's always been like the side thing. And so now taking on something like this full time as an entrepreneur, and this is, you know, my only source of income, and then also a new baby, you know, kind of creates some unique challenges, you know, which is time management and what have you. So doing my best to like kind of look ahead and like see how I'm going to just continue to like, you know, sharpen and plan better. And because I got to move around her, you know?
Yeah.
Baby Goddess is the boss now.
I think you pinned it very well when you said that it's an evolution. And so all of us, whether we're, you know, black or white, women or men or rich or poor, we are constantly evolving. And as long as you're learning from, you know, your great successes and how to be even more of a better success, or you're learning from the biggest valley in your life and you're growing from that valley, then you should be very, very proud of yourself. I read this quote some time ago, and it was like, stop telling your kids that you're proud of them. Tell them this instead. Tell them you should be proud of yourself, because now they're not looking for you to be proud of them.
That.
They have to make themselves proud, because then they're finding their own path. Like there's a lot of paths out there, Chris, right? Like you have another child. This is going to be a completely different adventure.
Yeah.
The other kids are grown, or not grown, but, you know, are older and they can bathe themselves and feed themselves and, you know, clothe themselves. And now you have this new dependent, but you're going to do it completely different. And me being a father of 6, and I've seen my own evolution, and I'm very grateful, because I feel like I didn't do a good job the first 3 daughters I had. Like I was learning, but I was so broken in the learning and trying to raise these very fragile and precious beings, and made a lot of mistakes. And so now I have another opportunity to do it again. And I say, well, I can't do that. And I won't do that, because they deserve better. Not that my older kids didn't deserve better. I just didn't know how to do better. Because I was so, you know, lost in my own thing. And once you lose your identity, man, like it's a great swim across that channel to get back, because there's so many things fighting you besides the current. Your own frailties are, you know, exhausting you sometimes, man. So fatherhood, it's a whole basket of stuff, brother.
Yes, indeed. But, you know, nonetheless, I am doing not only just the best to navigate, like, you know, the blending and balancing the, you know, work, but also, you know, I don't even know if balance is the right, you know, operative word, but making room for, I would say, like just the personal relationships that I have, like, and being intentional with using the podcast. So what I've done is use the podcast as a mechanism to do what I've always wanted or known is healthy or I should do before ever having a podcast, which is really try to just have intentional connections and times set apart in a day where I just connect with people. Mm-hmm. And now God has blessed me where I can get paid to do that.
That's so dope.
Like, that's
right?
my job to find who else can I reach out today to and be like, hey, you want to just go over and have a conversation?
Yeah.
You know, and so a big misconception is a lot when people come, you know, friends of mine or different like entrepreneurs, and we kind of like speak on the, you know, the cross section of, you know, I call them the 3 F's, you know, faith, family, finances, like, you know, in finances in the respect of like being an entrepreneur in business somehow. A big misconception is that like, it's like, hey man, so like, what's the topic today? Or like, you know, what, like, you know, it's like an interview or like, so what questions are you going to be asking me?
Yeah.
And it's always like, you know, to be as like colloquial and like organic as possible. And I'm just like, hey man, nah, like, I just really want to like just catch up with you, you know, either if somebody I know directly, like personal, or if like I only know them on social media, I follow them or something, and I see that they're into like, you know, something cool or I think is interesting. I'm like, nah, you know, it's not necessarily a topic per se. I could tell you what made me reach out to you, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I saw that you post this, or you recently did this, or you have this business, and I think that's pretty awesome. And or I see like, you know, you're a person of faith, and you know, we have that shared affinity, and you know, so, you know, hey, like, you know, just what's the latest and greatest just with you, you know, and what are the like kind of challenges, what are the successes and things you're navigating, you know, today, you know, in this season. And that's what we talk about.
I like the fact that you have found that niche to where it's not, you know, so itemized, or should I say the itinerary, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a free conversation, because in this freeness, somebody is going to be able to glean from it. Like we could talk about, you know, the past Chris, we could talk about the right now Chris, we could talk about the past Danny, the right now Chris. And if I said to you, man, you know what, I believe some listeners out there are wanting to know, how is it that these guys could move and live and have their being and be so free at doing this when it seems, you know, dang, they're impossible. Like, how do you do that? And you say, you just start making the necessary steps and it starts to happen. Because I truly believe, like God says, that there is a thing called purpose in life. And if you start, you know, walking in your purpose, you bring other people out of their comfort zone into this purpose, right? So watch this. For instance, I was telling one of my colleagues that—
Hold on, say that last part one more time. If you bring people out of their comfort zone.
You're out of your comfort zone, right? And when you get out of your comfort zone and you start doing all of this and you need, you know, help, many hands make light work, you're bringing them out of their comfort zone as well, because some people don't think that they can ever be included in something like this, right?
Oh, okay.
So, for instance, the great Tyler Perry, right? This guy has a studios inside of studios that are employing other people. And so because he came out of his comfort zone and said, I'm going to try this acting thing, I'm going to put on these little shows on stage in these little towns or whatever. And now he is a multi-million, maybe a multi-billionaire dude, right? Employing thousands and thousands of people to do what? Putting stages together and lighting and audio and building props and all the actors and everything. His gift has employed thousands. And I would say the same thing for you. Your gift and your boldness to step out of all of these other things that people say you should be doing, because I heard our pastor say at one time, he said, well, my aunt said I was her little lawyer, and somebody else said that, you know, he should go to school for hotel management or something like that. And then it was like he could have done all those things and easily been great at any of them, right? But now to me, and maybe to a lot of other people, he's like the greatest pastor in the world. You know what I'm saying? So I remember, I hope I'm not putting you on blast when I say this, but I remember you being a New Haven police officer. Gun badge, the whole nine, the car and everything. And I was like, dang.
A real one. This is real.
Real. Not a flashlight security guy. A cop, man. And you and Paul Finch. And I'm looking at it, and I was like, I always wanted to be a police officer. But I always kept asking God, Lord, if it is not your desire that I'm supposed to be a police officer, just don't let me get in. And no matter how many times I went for the agility test and all these things, I never got in. And you, the guy that's in there, like swimwear, is doing it, is not living out his real passion. And you're like, this, yo, Blue, between me and you, bro, this is not what I really want to do.
Yeah.
And you're not the first one. I've talked to several officers in Connecticut, Milford, New Haven, West Haven. They say, yo, man, it's not it for me. Yeah. Bro, not it for me. Like, you're thinking like, man, I can get all the overtime I want. I can stand at these traffic lights and bill somebody. You know what I mean? And retire in 20 years and have a pension and everything. But am I living out my truth? So right now, as you're evolving and I'm evolving, I'm saying to myself, this is going to be a hard no. This is not what I want to do. I don't want to work at this place. I don't want to work for this person. I want to take a chance. And who's the best net to catch you? God. You see these guys walking on these trapeze wires?
Yeah.
Some of them don't have a net, Chris. Some of them have a net. That's good. I'm saying to myself right now, my man, you don't have a net. You're all in.
Yeah.
My brother said, Dan, there's no net. I'm all in. The only net I have is God. And he keeps showing up. The lights are on. The mics work.
Exactly.
The cameras got charged on their batteries. Everything is still moving as it should. You got a beautiful little angel at home. I bet you she's not hungry. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
so that is a clear indication to me that you're on the right path, your path.
Yeah. But
And that's going to empower other people.
You know, you mentioned like, you know, the lights are on or the, you know, the baby has food at home. But like, I think that's what becomes such an effective
driving
deterrent for many people to go after what their passion is or what God has gifted them with, is because having the safety net makes such logical sense.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Right? Doing the thing that's not necessarily the thing I'm passionate about, but provides me a safety net, just makes sense. It makes sense. And 9 out of 10 people in the world wouldn't argue you for, like 9 out of 10 people wouldn't say, you know what, if I had worked 20 years and stayed at the police department being miserable but still making 6 figures every year, 9 out of 10 people said you did the right thing for your family.
Right.
Kept that safety net.
Right.
So that's what I mean by when I go, you know, for many people, because they're concerned for good reason with all those things, you know, I want to make sure I, you know, keep the bills paid. I want to, you know, not, you know, just having just God as a safety net, bro, is not the end thing. That's not the, you know, that's not the norm. Like, you know, and for many people, that's not okay. Shouldn't be. That's irresponsible.
Right.
You know? So what do you mean? Like, God is a safety net? Nah, man.
You sound crazy.
You need to make sure you got a plan B, C, D. You need to have all these other things. And it's like, in my mind, the way I see it, man, like having all the plan B, C, D, E, all those take away from the degree of tenacity that I can attack plan A.
Word.
Because it's not that plan A isn't a good plan.
Right.
You know? Like, and I talked a little bit about that with Eddie. You know, when Eddie came through. And it's just that we, I think, as people, as whether you're entrepreneurs out there, or and even, you know, whether you're people of faith, you know, because we're all imperfect. We have very real, tangible concerns with day-to-day living, with survival, with taking care of our children, that hold us up from having that thing that we know we're called to do.
Yep.
We know what we should be doing, and attacking it with 100%. This, I was telling somebody earlier, we just had a sponsorship meeting. And I was telling the sponsors in the meeting how, you know, you never experience something you never had until you do something you never done. In January, when I decided I wasn't going to go back to work after, you know, me having my divine disruption, you know, with the blood clot and all the surgeries, right? Wow. I decided I wasn't going to go back to work. And I was going to take this thing full time and go all in. I was going to dare to do something I've never done before and see if the saying, if the quote is more than just poetry. Let's see if this is really real.
Right.
Will I experience or begin to experience something I've never experienced with the platform, with the growth, by doing something I've never done? And that thing being going all in for the first time. And it has. The platform has grown for in just a matter of the last 9 months. So let's say to give you perspective, for the first almost 10 years, our main platform presence on Facebook, let's just say, had 1,100 followers. It had amassed for 10 years. 1,100 followers. That's it. I mean, maybe to some people that's great, but
that's
hey,
a lot.
In the world of entertainment and this business, it's nothing. In the last 9 months, we've gone from 1,100 to 10,000.
Okay. So
you see what's happening?
You're doing something right.
It's because the thing that's quote unquote being done right is I'm doing something I've never done, which is go all in. And now because of that, I'm experiencing growth that I've never experienced.
Right, because you're watering the whole lawn and not half the lawn.
It's not just the thing on the side anymore.
Word, bro. Word. Because what you feed will grow. And you're feeding this thing for real, for real.
It's all I'm feeding.
Word.
Nothing else is, I'm going to feed you a little bit today, but you know what? I got to leave at this time. I got to run over here to my other job. I got to make sure I go feed that.
Right.
No, there's no other job.
Word.
When I wake up in the morning, it's who's on the calendar today, what, recordings have to be done today, what voiceover is on the schedule today, what company or brand are we consulting with today, who do we have to call, who do we got to get on the Zoom. That's it.
But this is exactly what I was alluding to earlier as we're talking about this. This is for someone out there that is going to hear this podcast. This is what it takes. You have to feed that thing in order for it to grow, and you can't get weary in well-doing because of what it looks like. You just have to keep pressing, keep moving, keep grinding. You know what I mean? Like, I look at all of the people now that we look at as billionaires. You look at Steve Jobs, you look at Bill Gates, you look at Elon Musk, you look at another guy that I read about. He didn't want to go to the dinner table. I think it was Bill Gates.
What do you mean he didn't want to go to the dinner table?
His mother used to have to come and get him out of his room to get him to come to the dinner table because he was in his room reading in the nighttime, feverishly under the cover with a flashlight reading. And I watched this documentary on Netflix, and he has this tote bag, blue, white tote bag. His assistant packs it with a whole bunch of books. He gets on this seaplane, flies over to this little log cabin area, gets off on the pier, walks down, goes into this little cubby house with a little refrigerator filled with a bunch of Diet Cokes with books. And he steals away to read. It's like his side chick. It's like his mistress. This is all he wants to do is read. And he's obviously one of the most known, iconic people in our time today, right? So
who is this?
This is Bill Gates, or it's Bill Gates, or who's the other guy? Warren Buffett. No, it's definitely Bill Gates.
Oh, okay.
So I'm following these guys. I'm not really following them like I'm following their social media, but I'm saying like if they have like a podcast if they have something like that, I'll tune into it, see what they're talking about. But it's always been like that quirkiness of where people look at you and they say, man, he ain't normal. He should be doing this or she should be doing that. But you're like, nah, I'm going to do this. This is my life. I'm making the rules.
Exactly.
I'm calling the shots. I have to live out my truth. So I'm trying to do the same thing right now. And I call it trusting the process. Like I was to me, a late bloomer. I didn't graduate high school. I didn't go to my prom. I wasn't in the yearbook. I was this ugly duckling kid in school. I always got teased. I had braces and glasses and I was skinny and, I wasn't a popular dude. And then like the braces came off. I stopped wearing glasses. I turned into a monster. I was like, now I must get revenge. You know what I mean? So now
I turned into a G.
I turned into that dude.
I'm that dude now.
Right? But I mean, at that same time, I lost myself. You know, I was feeding a monster. You know, I wasn't a monster, but I was feeding this monster. Yeah. So now I'm ravishing all of these people in my life, and now I have all of these woes and regrets. I want to say sorry to everybody I ever dogged out. You know what I mean? Because mama didn't raise that kind of guy. You know, I would say that, you know, I was definitely a wolf in sheep's clothing. Yeah. You know, because now people look at me like, come on, Blue, really? You wasn't that dude. I'm like, yeah, I was. I'm not saying it like I want you to applaud it. I was that dude. I was a villain, low key. I don't want to take over the world. You know what I mean? It's bad. But I'm so happy to be where I'm at now because you know what, Chris? I really feel like evolution has knocked on my door. And it says, Dan, it's time for you to evolve into the leader you're supposed to be, into the mentor you're supposed to be, into that, you know, that guiding light for other young men that, you know, feel like this is what I need to be doing to keep up my rep or to keep my, you know, persona going. You know, I got to be that dude. No, we don't have to engage in the foolishness and the nonsense that the world says we have to fool with or entertain to be somebody. There is a God-given talent in each one of us and gifts that God wants to use. But if we don't, you know, flip that switch or turn that coin over, we'll never know what it is, man. And that's my story, bro. My story is, wow, I gave it to him, everything that I was, and I couldn't have written a better script. Like the things that I've been involved in and the places that I've gone in the past 10 years, I would have never. And if I could say a million years, I would have never dreamt I would have done some of the things I've done. Being in some of the rooms that I've been in, I'm like, what am I doing in here? I mean, like, do they low key know that I just got here? Like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm so glad to be in this room, man. You know? Yeah.
Nah, we gotta see. Well, I won't even say seize the moment, right? Because you're already in there. You were there. You seized whatever moment that preceded that to get you in that room, whatever. I would say the better word is acknowledge the moment. Like, bear witness to what's really happening when it does happen for you, which is why, like I said, like, you know, I have in the studio the Gratitude Rock. Like, right? Like, so I'm already in here in the space. Like, I'm already doing this full time. I'm already walking out the vision, you know, the thing, you know, glimpses of it at least that God showed me, right? So I've already seized several moments that got me to this one, okay? So now, for me, it's about never allowing myself to get caught up in fantasizing too much about the next moment. Because when I do that, it doesn't allow me to be grateful for the now.
Be in the present.
Right? Because I can like look around the studio right now and go, you know, I wish I had some better cameras. Because I promise you guys, I got one in my shopping cart right now on Amazon. I wish I had some other cool lights that, you know, I see other people on their podcasts have. You know, I wish I really had some A-lister celebrities, guests, you know. I can really just fantasize about always wanting the better, the more in the next moment. But then that robs me of seeing the like wonder and truly miracle of now.
Right.
Because what I'm experiencing now is boatloads, leaps and bounds better than what last year. Yeah. I like for people who like followed like the page on the platform on Facebook on the Real Free page, I posted a photo of my quote unquote, essentially my studio for season 1 of this podcast. And it was one of these lights that you see mounted up on the wall, one of these tripods mounted on top of it. And it's a picture of that light and tripod standing inside, me standing it up in my closet with white photography paper taped covering my bookshelf and my clothes rack in the closet. And I sat in the closet with one tripod, one light, and a cell phone videotaping me. I even had guests with that setup. They were obviously not in-person guests. They called in, and I would have them on Zoom, and I had a second iPhone that I would use, and I just would put that phone on speaker and then put that phone closer to my phone that was on the tripod recording so that people could hear their voice. And that was season 1.
So that was baby steps.
That was March 2020.
But you knew,
in
Chris,
the pandemic.
But you knew you had to do it. It's like when I was working at Hill House High School, right? I worked there for 7 years, and it took me 7 years to work there for me to later, after I left, to realize what God was actually doing for me, not to me, for me. So I go to Hill House, I'm working there, and I am in my, I want to say my 3rd year of college. I was going to Albertus Magnus College. I still had internships to do, papers and homework and all kind of things to do, right? And that job afforded me the time that I needed, not the money, but the time that I needed to get internships done, to get assignments done. I had a professor, shout out to Dr. Yeaman. She gave me the opportunity to do 2 internships while I was working at that job. Went on to do my master's while I was still working at Hill House, which I had to do an even bigger internship, more hours at New Haven Family Alliance, where I worked with many, we call them baby daddies, but young fathers that were coming out of the system that didn't have income but still had to pay child support. But if they came into my program at this internship I was doing at New Haven Family Alliance, it would, deter them from going to prison or jail or whatever, right? And all that experience chalks up to me being the man that I am now, because at that time, there were some things that I needed to get addressed in my life, and he was working it out like a symphony all at once. He was letting the drums come in, the cymbals come in, the horns come in. He was doing it. All I had to do was, once again, trust the process. So you were going through your, I call them contractions. So when I was in Hill House, the contractions were far apart. All mothers know about the contractions. Yeah. Every 30 minutes, you're about to get hit with this pain. You're going to be like, oh, right? And then they're going to recede or subside, right? And then they're going to get closer. They were 30 minutes apart. Now they're 15 minutes apart. They were 15 minutes apart. Now they're every 5 minutes you're going to get hit with this contraction. So I was at Hill House. Every month it would be like, I want to get out of here. Then it turned into every 2 weeks. I'm like, this is crazy. Every 2 weeks there was something going on. And then it turned into every other day some nonsense was happening. And I was like, I got to find something different.
I got to birth this thing.
I got to birth this thing. And sooner or later, before I knew it, I was at a Hype for Harvest at Cornerstone Christian Center. And I was on a flyer, and I was asked to be one of the little guest speakers, right? And I was like, sure, I'll do it. And I got up there, and I feel like I got the gift of gab. I'm running my lips. I'm talking about something.
Yep.
And I have a principal at another school come up to me, and she says, I really enjoyed that message. She said, and I have to ask you a question. How attached are you to your job right now? And I was like, I looked at my wife and I was like, is this happening? I'm like, I'm not really too attached right now because I'm
trying to get the heck out of here.
I'm about to have a C-section. You know what I'm saying? And took her business card. 1, 2, 3 interviews later, another principal reaches his hand over and says, hey, man, will you be my new special ed teacher? And I'm like, when do you have to have an answer? He was like, I got to have one by Friday. At the same time, I had a job lined up at the Board of Education downtown. They needed an answer on Friday too. So now, before in my life, never happened to me in my life, I've got 2 jobs at the same time.
2 offers.
2 offers. Same amount of money. One is 10 minutes away and one is 30 minutes away. Now I have the whole family praying, Lord God, which job should I take? Lord God, which job should I take? Talk about the evolution. Before it was like I didn't have a job. I didn't even have unemployment. I was sleeping in my car. You know, I haven't changed my underwear in days. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait to hook up with one of my homeboys so I can get some chicken or some dumplings or something.
Yeah.
You know? Those problems are far and long gone behind me, man. Now it's like, wow, I got to pick which one of these jobs I want to take. Awesome. All because God said, if you trust me, if you give me the little bit, if you give me your little 2 fish and your 5 loaves of bread, Dan, I'm going to multiply it, brother. I'm going to take you to places you could have never thought of or seen or heard of or imagined, right?
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, I want to go on vacation. Do I want to go to Jamaica? Do I want to go to Bahamas? Or do I want to go down back to the Outer Banks? You know? I mean, it's like, that's how good he is.
Yep.
But I'm thankful that you took the first step and put the paper up in your closet, in your microphone, bro. Because now you're telling the rest of your listeners, hey, whatever you got to do to start, just do it.
Yes, just do it.
Don't be afraid.
Start.
Take the chance. You never know what it's going to turn into.
Yes. You never
know what it's going to turn into, bro.
Put that iPhone up and that little light, whatever light you got, man, absolutely. And it was, it's, when I think back, when I look back on it now from where I presently am and seeing what it's, been able to come to now, obviously I'm grateful and appreciative. But
it's a nice studio, guys. Let me just let you know that right now.
But in that time, full transparency, guys, I wasn't able to always be encouraged. And that's just being honest, man. I wish I could say I was always faithful and believing, and I just knew. But sometimes I needed my wife to believe when I couldn't. And shout out to her and anybody else out there listening, man, who has a spouse or best friend or any just people that sometimes you need people to believe in you when you don't. And I'm so thankful to have that. I think I have a really, really niche crowd of people around me that believe in me, even when in secret they don't really know. I'm sometimes like second guessing. I'm like, man, I don't know. And they're on the outside, and because they're on the outside, you have kind of like the unique position that you're not living in the everyday with me of the trench or the dips or seeing the shutoff notice come in the mail, right? And so not to take away from how awesome it is to have people that believe in you, not to take away from that, but it's like you're kind of protected from the things that usually chip away at people's faith.
No doubt.
Right? But luckily so, because then I can like look to those people who still believe in me when I might be doubting me, and they're like, nah, man, man, you doing awesome, or keep pushing, man, keep doing your thing, man, I see you, which is why I say so much, like it goes a long way. Like I put on Facebook a couple of days ago, like, what are some of the challenges, some of the entrepreneurs who follow my page, what are some of the challenges you guys have in your business as an entrepreneur? And they were like, just finding support, people to just, like my posts or share, friends or family that they know. And, I was saying like, that's why, I tell the, people in passing when like I finally meet up with, some of the friends I have or people, and like, they'll always tell me, yo, man, I see you, man, doing your thing, or I saw that thing you posted, or I saw that. And I'm always like shocked. Like, I'm like, wow, you did? Because I would have never known. Like I didn't see anybody like it, or I didn't see it get shared. And so I always encourage them, like, or try to like, let those people know, like, if you see something I'm doing and you think it's great, you think it's awesome, you just never know, man. For all of us creatives out there, all of us entrepreneurs and business owners, you never know when like we are really just second guessing ourselves, or we really just need that kind of like tip of the hat, like, yo, I see you, man, like keep going, like, and it's so encouraging, like, and it kills me to say this, like, because you would think it just goes without saying, but it doesn't cost a cent.
It doesn't cost anything, bro.
And like I even have to like, again, like I love being the change that I want to see, so I hold myself accountable to the same thing. If I see something, like I'm like quick to be like, yo, man, that's dope, man, let me just, I could Hey, like it. Hey, if I got an extra 4 seconds, I'll even go to added step and share it. But the 1 second to just click, keep scrolling, click, keep scrolling. Like this, I don't know how, if there's a scientist who could break down in milliseconds how long that is, it's not even a second.
I know.
It's that. You're doing it with your finger anyway. Your finger's already on the screen.
And you don't know how much you just, increased someone's, ability to keep going, because if you already know, most of the time family's not behind you. If they don't buy into your theory of how things are going or how things should go, they're not going to support. And so now you're just out here just, going for it. So my comment could just be that much of a boost to you to keep you moving forward. Because I got this kid right now. Shout out to Jonathan Latang, my boy, my partner with Bust That Fat. Like I was sharing with you earlier, like I had high cholesterol, borderline diabetic, and I had to lose 25 pounds. And I started doing it, but I wanted to kind of like document while I was losing this weight, how I was doing it. So I was skateboarding, I was hiking, I was running, I was riding a bike, elliptical machine, all these things I was doing. And being silly on Instagram, I'm like, hey, this is your boy, Dan Blue out here. I'm out here busting some fat. I'm keeping it real. I'm not out here, I'm doing P90X, I'm doing all this stuff. No, I'm out here busting some fat, man. I'm trying to, live, bro. Because his other side of it was like, bro. The doctor was like, yo, Dan, hey, man, listen, you could either lose 25 pounds or I'm going to put you on this medication, bro. And, real talk, I mean, between me and you, it's like, I'm like, what? He was like, yeah, it's on side effects. I was like, oh, no, bro. Oh, no. So I was like, I could lose 25 pounds and not ever being asked to lose that much weight in my whole life.
That's crazy.
So now I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? Exercise.
Yeah.
Get back to getting out there, because I was a big video gamer.
Yeah.
On the couch every night, tater chips, ice cream, sodas, video games. Tater chips, ice cream, video games, right?
Wow.
And just getting the dad bod didn't really bother me. Busting pants didn't bring no shame to my life. I just bought a bigger pair of pants. It didn't matter.
Wow.
But then now I'm like, my health and my life, maybe I need to change stuff. So then I start busting the fat, and I start announcing it every time I go out. Yo, this is your boy Dan Blue. And I'm out here busting some fat. And then it turned into news. Like, hey, did you know 30 minutes 3 times a day could take you off the list of being a candidate for, heart disease or sugar diabetes or something like that? Get out there and do it. So now we're, like you said, 10 years with your LLC. I've got 6-7 years with, yo, this is Dan Blue for Bust That Fat News. I got correspondents on the West Coast. I got correspondents in India. I got correspondents in the Midwest, Texas, everywhere, bro. Just people out there. Yo, this is so-and-so, and I'm a correspondent for Bust That Fat News. I was just on a cruise. Wow. I had one jet skier instructor say he was a correspondent. Like, what do we need to do, Chris? How do you stay so lean, Chris?
Wow.
How are you still in the 32 waist, Chris? You're not 19 anymore. You got 5 kids. How do you stay lean?
I wish I was 32. I'm trying to gain weight. I'm only at 30 waist.
Dang. You heard that, folks, first here. 30 waist, guys. Dang, bro.
Yeah,
listen,
man.
I want to be 31, 32 waist because then I know that I got mad energy.
Nah, I'm one of those dudes. I be trying to get diesel, man. I be trying to get all swole. But I found like over the years to just find peace with, man. This is my body type, man. I'm good. And now my goal is just trying to actually be actually healthy inside.
Word.
Not just have the appearance of healthiness.
Right.
And that's what a lot of us chase.
And this is why we're saying, like, we're not trying to body shame anybody. Because it is about that internal person. It doesn't matter what you look like on the outside, because I've seen healthy people on the outside.
Dude, I had this guy, one of our instructors at the police academy. Dude got a gut, belly, whole nine. With all of us recruits, had a sit-up competition, out sit-up all of us.
Damn.
I was like, hold on, time out.
Worked it.
This doesn't line
doesn't
up.
compute, right?
What's happening?
Right.
Yo, dude was healthy otherwise. Somehow he was banging. Yo, he was banging them out, man.
No, I've seen some big people get it in, man. But like we said, like, yo, bust the fat. Like,
so is bust like? I know we have to like wrap up in a few minutes. Before we do, is Bust That Fat like your entity or
Bust That
platform?
Fat belongs to us. I mean, we got it trademarked. We got T-shirts. I brought you a gift. We got T-shirts.
Hold on. So I have there's one of these shirts that you got on right there?
Yeah, we got the logo in the back, BTF, Bust That Fat. And like we say it all the time, like, get out there and live. Like, you can scroll on
and you guys
phone.
are on Instagram.
We're on
only?
Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we got a website, we've got leggings coming out, we've got T-shirts, we've got hats. We've got some stuff out there, man, and we just haven't been, like, of course, like the pandemic.
Oh, look, he knew what size to get me. My medium too, y'all.
Man.
Look at him,
bro. I paid
got
attention.
my medium.
Yes, sir, man. Wear it proudly, brother, because like we're all trying to live our best life, right?
Yeah.
However that is for you. I mean, some people want to attain success. Some people want to be rich. Some people want to be famous or whatever. All that, and you're not healthy. What does it matter? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter because you got a lot of people out there with a lot of money that can't do half of what we're doing, Chris. They can't walk up a flight of steps, man. You know, they don't have good sleep at night. And all we're saying is we're promoting healthiness. Take care of your body.
So like, does Bust That Fat like as a brand?
It's a brand, yes, brother.
What business is Bust That Fat into? Is it a supplement business?
No, we don't have any supplements.
Like outside of your mission,
right?
Which you just outlined. So
right.
I get the mission.
Mm-hmm.
As a brand, is it a for-profit brand? Like, how does it? What is it? What service or products does it provide?
So we're not out here trying to get rich. We're just trying to push a lifestyle.
Okay.
Like we used to be back in the day, in the early 60s, in the early 50s, hunters and gatherers. We were farming everything. We were slaughtering our own chickens and hogs and everything, and we brought the meals to the table. Now the convenience of the grocery store, not knocking anybody, has made it very easy for you to eat when you want to, as much as you want to. But that was never supposed to be how we were supposed to live in our life, man. You know, there's a time and a place for everything. There's a time to rest and there's a time to work. There's a time to laugh. There's a time to cry. There's also a time to eat, and it ain't 24/7. That's the problem we got right now. People think you could eat all day long and not have any kind of repercussions. Are you kidding me? Man, listen, the studies are out there, bro. Cancer is running rampant. Obesity is running rampant. Diabetes is out of control, and it's all because of our diet. And whatever this is going to turn into, because obviously we're evolving, whatever Bust That Fat is going to turn into, hopefully it turns into a platform where we can say, like a lot of other people, hey, we didn't mean it for it to go this far, but this is what it turned into, and we're grateful, right?
So what's the social media like handles where people can follow Bust That Fat?
So you can find Bust That Fat on Bust That Fat. You can find it on my Instagram page, Danny E. Blue. It'll have a bunch of interviews up there and a bunch of things that I'm doing to, just stay active and keep those, those jellies away from me. You know what I mean? Because I was running down the steps one day, Chris. You bad when you run down the steps and your stomach is like whoop 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 whoop.
Man.
That's not cool.
Not cool.
I used to call it the deacon. Like when I first got saved, all the brothers were on the front row, the deacons, and their tie used to go down, and then it used to go like this. And I'm like, no, man, I don't want the deacon, bro.
Don't want that.
No.
Yo, Bust That Fat, Danny Blue. So it's the Free Lunch Podcast. Before we wrap up every episode, man, we have to leave the people the way lunch edifies the body. We like to leave the people with something spiritually edifying to edify their soul. So hence the name Free Lunch, free food for your soul. What's something edifying to the soul that you could leave the people with, the listeners with today?
Wow.
And take your time. I always let the guests know it's because it's the end of the show piece. Mm-hmm. It's not something to feel like you are rushed.
Gotcha.
We could always edit out silence.
Gotcha.
Take the time to actually think about what you want the listeners to take away from today's episode?
Definitely there's something inside of you that wants to be birthed. You feel it. It's gnawing at you. It keeps you up at night, and you're afraid. And I want to tell you to push through the fear. Walk into it. Face it. Do it, because someone else's freedom is attached to it. And trust the process. Wow. There's a lot to learn in the process of what you're gonna, open up yourself to. The caterpillar doesn't have a choice. It was designed to go into the cocoon, wow, and have a gestation period. But when it comes out, it's never the same. It flies off of that limb that it came out of. So you might be in your gestation period. You might still be inching along, but you feel it. It's a metamorphosis that wants to happen inside of you. Let it happen. That's who you are. You're a creature that is supposed to evolve. Let the evolution take place. Don't be afraid of it. Get out of your comfort zone.
Wow. Thank you, Danny Blue, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Free lunch. Free food for your soul.
Chris Elliott, y'all, give it up for my man doing this thing, yo. I appreciate you, brother.